So, what is up, guys? It is Lucas here once again, and we are in our very, very special week of episodes. So, please make sure you watch to the end to find out who I will be detailing in full in the next episode. So, we're talking about who should have faced John Cena in his final match. So, welcome everyone to the first in this week of special episodes dedicated to our deep dives into who should have been the final opponent of the GOAT, John Cena. Now, these are all being recorded in the week of the final match taking place, and with the knowledge that Gunther has won the right to face him at Saturday night's main event. Now, of course, the internet has been hotly debating this topic pretty much ever since Cena said he was going to retire, and there have been many a name chucked into the hat of who it should be. And I'm going to go through each one in detail and give a rating out of 10 on the following categories. Number 1, how much it makes sense from a storyline point of view. At the end of the day, WWE is a storyline product. If it doesn't make sense for it to be done, it probably won't be done. Then number 2, how likely it was going to happen in the first place. I mean, we've got to understand how contracts work and how schedules and all that kind of stuff works. So that's number 2. And number 3, finally, how good the end match would have been. It is a wrestling product. If it's not going to be good at the end, no point doing it. So with that being said, I'm going to get into a big one with possibly the biggest name that has been thrown around, and that is, of course, The Rock. Now, I'm straight away going to say that I honestly believe that John Cena will not wrestle again after this match. He will, of course, continue to make appearances for the company afterwards, both on television and outside to television, but I think fans who are hopeful for an extension of this tour will be left disappointed. Gunther is the final match. There's no surprise and nothing is happening afterwards. They built this up for the entire year and are selling tickets for thousands of dollars, and the card itself is stacked outside that match as well. So there's not really time for this to kind of have a surprise. But look, let's dive in with how much the match makes sense from a storyline point of view. So John Cena and The Rock famously had a rivalry both on and off screen in the late 2000s to mid 2010s. They previously had main evented WrestleMania 2 years on the trot and have been held as kind of the biggest stars of their respective eras. Fair enough. But it's this past year where stuff gets really juicy, as following The Rock's offer to buy his soul to Cody Rhodes on SmackDown, that led to a segment at the end of the Elimination Chamber PLE, where we saw history take place. Cody told Dwayne to F off, but in the biggest shocker of perhaps the year, it will be John Cena who turned his back on Cody and the fans, and in doing so, he will become a villain for the first time in WWE in 20 years, and the online fans were cooking up a whole recipe of options for him going forward, especially because at the Chamber he was presented alongside Dwayne and a bag of trash, Travis Scott. Now, I could talk about the heel turn all week, but I won't. I'll just say that I hated it, and it led to the worst Mania main event in recent history, and I'll leave it at that for now. But what's crucial about how it went is that it was all done without The Rock's involvement. The Rock didn't return at Mania to help him win the title. He didn't return at Backlash to help him beat old nemesis Randy Orton. Or in Saudi, they couldn't even pay him enough to help him beat CM Punk. Hell, he didn't even come back at SummerSlam when Cena had basically returned to his old good guy act. But you could say he was waiting for the end to return, to be the bigger surprise. And look, I absolutely could have seen an era existing where that did happen. And so in terms of how much it makes sense, I'm going to score it the full mark, 10 out of 10. I think Dwayne was an iconic rival of Cena before and was part of the biggest moment, undoubtedly, of his retirement run. So it's an easy full house here. But then we get to how likely the match was going to happen. And if I was asked this just after the Chamber, I'd have said a 6 or 7.
6, 7!
But when Dwayne didn't appear at WrestleMania, it went down to about a 4. They used the tournament to determine a final opponent and had surprises in the first round, but again, nothing from the now Golden Globe nominated actor. And with him being part-time, and that's being very, very generous, he's over 50 years old, and he's fully committed to a Hollywood career. I think, being realistic, this match had barely any chance of ever happening. So I'd say a 2 out of 10. And that's solely because he still works there, and also because he has a level of creative control. So he could have, if he wanted to, bully himself into the match. Now, lastly, how good the match would have been. Now, of course, this is subjective as it is wrestling. The Rock was never known for 5-star matches, and in later years he put on a considerable amount of muscle mass and started moving much slower as he got older. However, he made a more recent change to his image as he has slimmed down and is committing to getting other acting roles in a more serious basis. So in terms of getting himself back into shape for wrestling, it would have been quite interesting seeing how he would have done the transformation. I'm sure him of all people could have done it though. It also would have been fascinating hearing how WWE tried to flirt around the fact that this once jacked dude now just looks like everybody else. I'm going to say, though, that it's one of those matches where it could have been bowling shoe ugly at best, but the crowd would have dug it. Undoubtedly, they would have given it a stipulation, most likely that bloodline rules, anything goes, ref down for half an hour, so everyone from Sokoa to Nia Jax interfere in the match. So it would have been more of a kind of entertainment spectacle than wrestling. And look, that's fine, that can be fun. But I'd imagine fan backlash due to the fact that it's a match that no one really gains from. Cena's retiring, and Dwayne's basically there anyways, on his way to retirement. So it would have had somewhat of an exhibition match feel to it. So all in, I'd give it, say, maybe a 6.5 to be fair. So to summarise, I think while Dwayne absolutely would and could have made a good final opponent for John Cena, we're ultimately looking at the fact that this match didn't happen due to it never being meant to happen. Dwayne or Triple H or TKO or perhaps all three of them bullied a shitty idea onto the end of the Chamber PLE, and they never had any plans to follow up on it. The second that Dwayne got word that he might be an Oscar contender, he couldn't run fast enough away from WWE. The time to do this match personally for me, it would have been SummerSlam, as it would have been that nice kind of middle point of the retirement run, and it would have been when the feud and the angle was at its hottest. But I just think, to be fair, let's enjoy the two they did already over a decade ago. Those matches hold up still, and I think they both would be better than any match between the two in 2025 would have been. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and comments about this, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Now, get out of here before I give you a... Sorry, I don't know what happened there. I mean, maybe get out of here before I give you a rock bottom. See you soon.
Superman punch! Rock bottom!